brothers and sisters, or maybe a father or mother, maybe both. And so what enters in the heart is rejection, bitterness. It takes them to accusation. They don't get along with their brothers and sisters. They might go into competition, be driven to be loved. And so those are some of the ways it can come in. Being the scapegoat. It's just a wounded spirit that comes in somebody's heart. Their heart is broken. They were not loved properly. Friends can get angry when you spend time with another. Have you ever had a friendship where it was a threesome or foursome and you're with them, but that one day your friend calls you, one of the friends call you and you go with her and the other one finds out, and man, what do they throw on you? Guilt, shame, accusing you, shaming you that you're like falling on your knees, apologize. I'm sorry, I won't do that again. You know, because they're so full of envy and jealousy. I know I've had that several times in my life. Cynthia knows.
It wasn't me.
It wasn't her.
I didn't call her.
No, but I've had, you know, I think we all have dealt with that with other people, where, especially when we were kids. Now, when you see it in your adult life, that's just like, oh Lord, you know, that's ridiculous. But parents can possess a child because something they didn't have as a child, they'll live through their children, hoping, and so it's like they're working their image through them, or and so there's just so many different ways that it can come in. But a lot of times through that envy and jealousy, there's insecurity. They can act like the bully, trying to control you. And so, like I said, there's a lot of spirits that connect with this. There's the manipulation, control, the guilt and the shame, the envy and the greed and possessiveness, and all kinds of stuff that can come in. So we have to deal with envy and jealousy before we can really get to the spirit of rejection. Rejection feeds off others, but envy and jealousy will make others the source of the supply of value and fulfillment. It's a lie from the pit of hell, from the devil. Envy and jealousy says, I hate you because of what you have that I don't have. And we don't even have to say it out loud. It's like, how do they get that? Well, that's the spirit of rejection. Oh, it's the spirit of envy and jealousy working. I mean, we all, you know, or you get somebody gets a raise. How do they get that? That don't make any sense. Guess what? It's a sly foot coming in, getting you to feel that ping in your heart. But we don't even realize it or recognize it. So today I'm hoping you'll recognize some of the signs of it, because it's sneaky. Envy and jealousy does not like what the other person have. You are never satisfied. You can never compete and be better than anybody, because somebody's always going to be better, or have more than anybody, or have the best and the latest, greatest, because nowadays every 6 months something new's coming out. You can't even keep up with the market anymore. Now you're going into sanity of trying to keep up with the Joneses. It'll never let you alone. It'll never let you have peace of what you have, because our peace does not come with things or people who are in our lives, who we can possess. Only through Jesus Christ, being content where we are today, can we have peace in Him, inner peace in our life. Only through Him can we have it. No person can give it to us. Our husbands, our wives, our friendships cannot give us that peace. They cannot meet that need. We can even get envy and jealousy, like that person has something in my life that meets my need. But it gets you to compare yourself to others by your body, by your face, maybe all different things that we do, by the body size or whatever. But it gets you to compare yourself what others have. It gets you to murmur and complain. Strive to get what others have. It can take you to drivenness. Be driven, working overtime, working many hours to get all the things you want to keep up with the Joneses. That's a competing spirit. And there's no peace with it, because it's never good enough. You have it, but it's not good enough. The enemy says, oh, you got to have this now. And you get that. Oh, yeah, you got to have this. Oh, you got to have a bigger house. Or you got to have a bigger car. Or your next door neighbor gets another car. And it's the nicest and the latest and the greatest, and that spirit will talk to you and says, oh, but look what they got. Now you got to get it, or get something better. You won't accept who you are and what God is doing in your life with that spirit of envy and jealousy working in you. It will keep you from who you are. Destruction, tearing down someone else's blessing, gossip, negative words is what it wants to do. It wants to bring destruction. Can't say it enough. Friends getting the things you want. How about growing up? Didn't you give your parents a Christmas list of everything you wanted? You didn't get everything on your list, but your friend did. And so Christmas or birthday gifts, they had the hottest thing and you don't. Did you get angry with them? Sometimes you see people will break their other friend's toy because I wanted that. You can't have it. I'll break it. You know, kids are bad about that. I mean, you can see envy and jealousy working with children, especially the really young ones. You'll see them fighting over a toy. It's just envy and jealousy. So what does the Bible say about envy and jealousy? In Proverbs 14:30, a sound heart is life to the flesh, but envy, rottenness to the bones. What happens if a person has envy and jealousy? It pulls their resources, calcium, out of their bones. More on that later. Job 5:2, for wrath killeth the foolish man, and envy slayeth the silly one. When you look at the word slayeth, it means death. It means to take you to murder, either physically or with your mouth. Proverbs 27:4, wrath is cruel and anger is outrageous, but who is able to stand before envy? Have you ever been around someone full of envy and jealousy, and you just can't stand to be around them? They're just eating up because they're full of anger? I'm sure all of us have. I've quoted this scripture probably almost every time, Galatians 5:19 through 21. This is talking about the manifestations of the flesh. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lavishness, idolatry, one of the spirits, witchcraft, hatred, another one, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envying, murders, drunkenness, reveling, and such like, of the which I tell you before, and also told you in the times past, that they which do these things shall not inherit the kingdom of God. This is talking about habitual sin. This is someone that chooses not to follow the ways of God. We're all going to be pinged and get hit with things. It's what we do with it. But there are people out there that they're so full of the lust of the flesh, of wanting, and they'll do anything to get to it, that they will not turn back to the Lord, to His way. Because we are called to walk on the Spirit and to kill our flesh daily. Envy is in the same category as murder. Envy and jealousy, works of the flesh, defiles people around you. In Mark 7:20 through 23, all these evil things come from within and defile the men. It brings destruction. Fear feeds envy and jealousy. It's that fear of being rejected, fear of man, fear of not being accepted by the peers around you. Either at work or in family or with friends or clubs or memberships that you're involved with. We all want to be accepted. But the bottom line is you are accepted. The more you see much more you are accepted in the beloved, the more you can radiate your acceptance. People will come and want to know you because you're more secure. The more secure you are in the Lord, it's like an anchor for your life. The more people want to be around you. But if you reflect rejection, it's like a spirit that Cynthia's going to talk next week that will project for others to reject you. But so we have to get our identity in Him, line up with Him, get away from trying to get our needs met through people. Only God can fulfill that area, and it takes relationship. It isn't going to church, it's relationship, getting in the Word, reading His Word, meditating on His Word, having conversation with the Father. It's renewing those minds. It's renewing the protein synthesis in our mind, breaking down the strongholds, which are protein synthesis, that break them, that cause them to shrink back and grow new ones that are strong in the Lord. And the more we are confident in the Lord, not myself, in the Lord, the more the people want to be around us because you're secure, you're light, you're not heavy. And see, we're spirit beings, and spirit beings pick up these things without even realizing it. And so if you've ever been around somebody that's full of rejection, you want to reject them. And you go, why do I want to do this to them? It's because your rejection is connecting with their rejection. But anyway, so jealousy is rooted in fear. Out of fear, jealousy enters in. Then there's suspicion. You start having suspicious thoughts. Then you begin to suspect things that you cannot prove. It can be birth imaginations, real or imagined. Then you make judgments. Then what jealousy is trying to do is get you to feel displaced. How about at your job? Have you been at a job where they hired somebody that's similar to your job and you're thinking, oh, Lord, am I being displaced? You know, and so that enemy's lying to you. So what do you do with it? Do you agree with it, or you go, I'm not becoming one with that spirit? But that's how it does. So then you become jealous of that other person, because that person is new. They're going to go beyond the call of duty to prove themselves, because they're new. And so they're getting all these praise, and you're not. So you're getting jealous. And so, because that spirit's trying to whisper to you, they're better than you, and they're going to replace you. And that's a lie. And so it causes you to be fear and insecure at your job. And then to hate that person that came in because of jealousy. Because there's that bitterness and envy and jealousy working together. How are they getting all the praise? Well, they probably, who knows why. It's a thought from the enemy that makes you feel insecure and opens the door to the action of suspicion. And then the next, do you gossip about that person? Because then they've got this great reputation. They're doing the same thing you're doing. So do you gossip, have accusation? Oh, they think they're so good. They think they're so hot. Guess what? Envy and jealousy is working in your heart with those thoughts. Can y'all relate to that? Have you ever had thoughts like that? We're all guilty. I know I have. Many times. The diseases that come from envy and jealousy, we'll have them up there. Most are bone diseases, such as osteoporosis, bone marrow disease, humpback, bunions, hammer toes, degenerative disc diseases, Paget's diseases, teeth issues, like losing calcium from your bones or bone from your jaw, loss of calcium in teeth, where your teeth becomes brittle and breaks. Overloading the kidneys, creating kidney stones, gallstones. Why? In Proverbs 14:30 says, a sound heart is the life of the flesh, but envy, the rottenness of the bones. What happens when we're in envy and jealousy? It pulls the calcium out of your bones and reabsorbs into your bloodstream, traveling down, and guess what? Then all of a sudden it dumps into your kidneys. Kidney stones, kidney cysts, kidney infections. There we go. So did you know that barrenness comes from envy and jealousy? The story of Jacob. Didn't he have 2 wives? Rachel and Leah? Well, the Lord saw Leah was hated. I mean, her husband did not love her. He loved Rachel. But he opened her womb up, and she had many babies. But Rachel was barren. Leah bore Jacob many sons, and then we see the true nature of Rachel's heart. She becomes envious of her sister. This is Rachel's first sin in Genesis 30:1-2. And when Rachel saw she bare Jacob many children, she said to Jacob, "Give me children or else I will die." Jacob's anger was kindled against Rachel, and he said, "Am I in God's stead? Who hath withheld from thee the fruit of your womb?" So there he was proclaiming, God must have withheld from your womb. Like Sarah, Rachel gives her husband a handmaiden to bring life, bring children. Helping God. That's what we do. We help God. We're all guilty of it. Don't we many times try to help God instead of trusting Him? I mean, I know I've did that in the past. I know I was doing a job thinking, oh, I could do full-time ministry doing the second job. And I wasn't making any money, no matter how hard I worked, to work till midnight. I'm like, God, what is blocking me? I am, He said. You? You're blocking me? Why are you blocking me? Because you're doing it your way, not my way. Whoa, did I hit the floor? That was a long time ago. Gosh, we learned the hard way. I mean it. So, I mean, it was like I gave it up. I gave up the business. I thought, I won't do that again. See, the envy and jealousy gets you to think that God won't trust, won't take care of you, or meet your needs. It's a form of unbelief, doubt, faithlessness. You see, envy and jealousy is always fueling bitterness against others and yourself. Ultimately, distrust in God, unbelief that God really cares when He really does care. I know at one time, a long time ago, I used to walk around and say, I'm just a cursed person. I really believed I was a cursed person, and I just speak it over myself. I couldn't understand why everybody else was being blessed except me. I couldn't understand why they were getting the goods, and I would murmur and complain. The more I murmured and complained and questioned God, the more He took my blessings away. You want blessings? Stop murmuring and complaining. You want blessings? Start praising God right where you're at. And my life did change later on.